Good morning, traders, and welcome to the Pro Trader webinar, options focus today with JTrader. Now, we have JTrader usually every Wednesday at 10 a.m. He usually comes in a bit later. He's kind of finishing up his room. This is going to be a little different, though. This whole week, it's, as you guys know, on options trading. And JTrader trades a lot of options as well. He puts some materials together for you that we can share. I think you'll have to come over to the Discord room if you want to get some of the documents, etc. Anyway, that will be in there, and he's going to go through his option strategies here. All right, so you guys know who JTrader is. He's been trading for quite a while, since he was 18 years old. He does offer mentorship and education. I'll put these links into the chat for you guys if you want to reach out to him. You got his email as well. Got to go through the disclosures. He usually trades live here every Wednesday. I don't think he's going to be trading live today, but I'll go through it anyway. And then we'll turn it over to JTrader if he's in here. If not, then we'll go through the S&P for a little bit like we typically do on Wednesday. All right, general disclosure. All Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Live trading is in simulation, demo, paper trading mode, and strictly for educational purposes. Live trading executed in simulation cannot accurately represent realistic trading performance. Risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. An investor could potentially lose all or more than the initial investment. Risk capital is money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security nor lifestyle. Only risk capital should be used for trading, and only those with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Okay, so Joseph, are you here? No, I guess not yet, which is fine. We will take a look at the S&P E-mini for now and kind of see what's going on. That'll provide a nice kind of overview of his because he looks at stocks, specific stocks. So instead, we'll go through the S&P, which will give kind of a broad overview of what's happening. And as you guys know, we have some fundamental news. It's pretty important. The market's very sensitive to, which is FOMC later today. It's a big one. There's economic projections. I mean, this is there's a statement. There's the rate. There's a press conference. It's a big thing. This is probably the biggest economic event every month. In this case, it's the quarter, so it's even bigger. Yeah, the market's definitely going to be very interested in that. That'll start around 2 p.m. East Coast time. So in terms of what's happening right now, well, let's take a look at the S&P. Well, we can see the 830 here. We have a nice kind of a boost to the upside. We stayed up there, right? So you can see actually, a trending market here. Let's even put a trend line in here. Okay. You can see that we're in a nice uptrend here, some back and forth here from the cash open at 930, move to the upside, move to the downside, move back up. 3,900, the figure up here, just can't seem to sustain above it, and now we can see the some sellers starting to come in here. Let's see if they can reach down to this 38.90 right now. Looks pretty good. Some pretty strong selling coming in, and looking for a continuation here. Right. So just looking for this 38.90. Okay. So still looking for it here. So we're kind of right around here where we're looking for that 94 or so. And let's see the continuation here, and just bottom of the range here, we'd still be in an uptrend. Okay, it's nice area in here. This is where the buyers came in. This is where there's liquidity. and it's just a quick move. So it's about a 4-point move that we're kind of looking for here. And then that's it. If you want to hold for longer term, well, then that's something up to you. Looking for a bigger move, right? You're looking for a higher time frame move, maybe down into this 830 area here, or below. Okay. All right, so didn't quite get there. Got there to 91 so far. And here we go, one more shot at it. Liquidity coming in on the offer. And buyers take them on. Interesting. Okay, so yeah, that one didn't work out. I would be stopped out at break even on that, to be honest. And that would be that. Okay, so gave it a shot, had a 3-point gainer, and then came back and hit it, stop at break even there. Just going through. It's not a trade recommendation whatsoever. This is just going through scenarios and how to read order flow and kind of putting this together into some sort of plan in here. Now, in fact, you can still be bearish up here where these sellers came in and move this market lower. Okay, but we kind of have to look at the order flow around these areas in here, and we're seeing quite a bit of buying in here. So yeah, I don't like that idea due to the order flow here at this level here, right? And here come the buyers. So now we're back up the top of the range here, and actually looking for now buyers to try to extend it. It's pretty good buying in here. So let's see if we can get them to come up at 98 again and extend into 99 and 3900 and above it here. Would love to see it come up into 02, 03 area up here. Okay, so looking for that, and that would be the other position here. Looking at, again, like looking at the order flow here, right? Saw something here in the order flow, looking for this move back down, didn't work out. Then looking for the order flow up here and looking for the move up into 3900 and then above here as well. Okay, so you can see like just by reading the order flow in here, then looking for the extension in the move, right? Just trying to understand some of these areas in here, and then looking for these moves to unfold. Okay, it's due to the order flow. All right, so that's what we're reading in here. I'm kind of off on a kind of funny tangent in here. Just saw a couple funny things in here, or interesting ideas in here. Again, not trade recommendations, but looking for a follow through in the order flow here. Okay, so in this one up here, maybe you took partial profit up at 3900, the figure. Maybe you're still holding it, but again, I would be just different ways to consider this once you start to see this event unfold, right? To take some profit, you could manage your stop in a few different ways at break even, or if you took some profit up here for a couple points, you could put your stop down below here for a couple points, and it would be an overall break even that you're looking for. Okay, and then you'd still be in it, right? Anyway, just some considerations in here. Saw a couple of interesting little moves in here, and I imagine this is probably going to be the day here. I mean, we are in an uptrend, but we're really not looking for much today. It's gonna happen later in the day, and we're gonna see something, some fireworks around 2 with the FOMC. All right. So again, now stopped out at break even, or overall break even. So nothing on that one, right? But gave it a shot here. Saw something, was looking for the follow through. Anyway, guys, yeah, off to kind of a funny, odd direction here this morning. I just saw a couple of interesting order flow events, though, and thought I'd follow through with them. All right, so let's see here. Anyway, the focus today is on options. And as we wait for Joseph to come in, then yeah, and he should be in any minute. I wanted to also mention about options, okay, in general here, and using a Bookmap. We've had some great events so far. So on Monday we saw, Brent Kachuba. He went through some really interesting ideas on Monday, which all followed through later in the day. And we're going to have Doug Pless that follows a lot of the spot gamma and uses a lot of their products, that he will go over a lot of those trade opportunities that he saw on Monday. Okay, he will be presenting on Friday. Tomorrow we have Options Millionaire, so looking forward to that. That should be excellent webinar. So he's if you guys don't know who he is, he's just been killing it. He's a Bookmap user, so tune in for that one tomorrow. And just understanding order flow and looking for opportunities. If you're scalping options, yes, you could use the underline here in Bookmap. If you are looking for longer term opportunities, then, well, there's all sorts of things you can do in here. I mean, if you're looking for, in this uptrend in here on the way up, look at your options chains. Look at, what the implied volatility looks like. If you're kind of thinking that the market's going, or the FOMC, they're going to raise rates, well, then, you have an opportunity here. Okay, because if they're going to be raising rates, we're going to see a nice drop. And we're in an uptrend right now, just trying to get back up above the figure here is what it looks like. In fact, we can even look at maybe one more shot in here. Let's see if, again, not a trade recommendation, and I don't see anything quite yet here, but I'm curious to see if we get more buying up here and then a breakout above 3,900. Okay, probably see a nice stop run above it. And nothing yet. Okay, here come some buyers.
Good morning, Bruce.
There he is. Joseph, how are you?
Good, Bruce. How are you doing?
Doing well, doing well. Just looking at the S&P here, and kind of going over the general market, and we have FOMC later today. Yeah. Let's jump into looking very forward to what you have to say here about options. So let me find your screen.
Can you see Bookmap?
Yeah, just a moment. Yes, got it. And let me pop that out. Okay, there we go. All set to go.
Okay, so good morning, everybody. As you know, I'm a day trader. Small caps, big caps, mid caps. I also trade crypto futures. When I trade options, especially when I trade Tesla, Meta, Amazon, Apple, lately not too much Apple, but a lot of Meta, Amazon, and Tesla, I like to trade options. So I wrote even some articles that Bruce after can share about options. So what are options? As we said, it's a type of securities, right, that involves the sale and purchase of option contracts. The main important thing is to define always, for me, the risk when you're trading options, because it's you're trading a different price versus the stock. So in this case, this morning, you can see that we had over here Meta, 1 minute chart, and the open was around 146.20. We had the push to 146.70, and we unwinded. Of course, when you trade a stock, you will trade short over here. So you will short sell. When you're trading the option, so being that you want to speculate for the bearish market to the downside, you will buy contract puts. There are three main ways that I suggest to trade options. The first one is swing trading, which involves, position for multi-day or multi-week. In this case, when you swing trade, I would suggest to go over a monthly expiration, right? So look for monthly options. When instead I'm day trading or I'm even scalping, right? Lately, personally, I'm just like day trading, but I'm mentoring some traders who are scalping options. And an option why they are also useful because they give you a very big possibility to grow your account very fast if you know how to manage them well. In this case, for day trading and scalping, I use weekly options. So when I say weekly options, I take always the expiration of the actual Friday. Different is when you trade, for example, the SPX, okay? So you will start to trade them on Friday. Now, this morning, how I chose over here, you can see the expiration 140. Now, I use these charts only for charting purposes. I don't trade directly over here through to the Ameritrade, but this was, first way that I could see the charts. So I start getting always more interested in this. Two main things that I will explain today on options. One is how to choose the options. The second thing is how to manage a position. If over here I'm looking at Meta and I'm looking, this was my pre-market plan. So pre-market plan on Meta, we can see it over here. I said downtrend. Okay, so you see Meta is downtrending. Just if we go over here, and you can see this phase of downtrend, right? Set of lower highs, lower lows. Resistance 149. So I was looking for this level of resistance over here, 149. Support at 145. Support that trend line. Below previous day low, look to trade a short pattern, zero rejection. Avoid any other place. So this is the previous day low. And that's our trend line. So the starting of the trend line break, I'm starting to get interested in shorting Meta or buying put contracts. The fact that this morning I personally didn't trade options because we had low volatility in the market. I mean, Meta is basically the stock that had a better volatility, but the liquidity was very low, a lot of chop action. Even if you look at ES basically moved between 38 and 86 and 39.02, so around 15, 16 points, which is a very low range. And I wanted to wait 2 o'clock today for the FOMC. Okay, so FOMC, it's always generally on Wednesday. Now, the selection of the 140 over here, sorry, puts is very important. And why I chose that. When I'm getting interested over here in trading the 145, I need to look where I believe this stock will go. So I'm starting to look at previous main supports. I'm starting to look for the next key whole round dollar area. I remember one of my mentors smashed the bid. That is a very good option trader. So when I was asking him in the beginning, because I started trading many years ago covered warrants, which are the Italian version of options and move very similar to this, or used to move very similar to this. Now are not anymore that tradable. So I asked him once how you determine which option you want to buy. And his answer was looking for where you think the price will go. So if you have a trend, of course, I will look for the main support. Okay, that will be my target. Now, of course, I will have to define if that support will be reached, in this case for a short, intraday or during the week, or I need monthly options. So at least 5-6 weeks out of the actual, I would say, expiration. So today we are looking for a fill over here. We can see how the option worked. In the moment that up here we have our signal, right? So assuming over here that we're going to take, as you know, a pop and fill. So this is a perfect J-line rejection, VWAP rejection, 90-minute pop and fill. In that same moment, the price over here is around 118. I also like these options over here, Meta, because they tend to be pretty liquid and the spread is still low. I don't like anything above 15 cents a spread. And we started to have this big rise. 118, 117 was the price to enter. Once we had over here the bottom, on the option we had the peak at 159, 160. So that's a pretty good move over here in terms of percentage. We're talking about 33, 34% of return. Now it's continued to fail. So we had a trend line break. This point, you can see the VWAP rejection at 949. And we're going to put also here Meta up. 949 until this dip over here into the 143 and 90. But you can see that the price of the option remained pretty lateral, right? Pretty lateral. So this is a very important factor. When you're trading options, you always need a pretty big trend. Because if you're trading option and the underlying stock is not moving, so on the underlying stock, say this is our stock, will be sideways, and you're gonna buy over here and you're gonna hold. You're not gonna lose anything if this is the same price. But vice versa, if this is our option, right? And while the price over here on the stock is the same as maybe 2 or 3 hours before, that will be the price of our option. So the time decay will have this influence. I also made an ebook that after Bruce can share with you, explaining all the Greeks, delta, gamma, and everything that you need to know. But for today, we're going to focus on the price section of this, even if though we have the FOMC, so I expect to have low liquidity and low volatility. Now, this is Meta of this morning. Okay. So you can see that in 942, 943. So once we're getting over here back to the VWAP area, 145, and 10. And also we have our dip. If you look below the chart, around 140, 139, 142 at the option, right? So that's the key area where we start having a rejection, VWAP over here, and as well over here at 948, 949. So this area over here. So you can buy over here the options at 140, 142, 143, and you can sell into this push. Just a normal small win over here because it's basically chopping out and being sideways.
So, Joseph, are you looking for, I mean, what sort of kind of strategies are you typically using? Are you just buying them outright, selling them outright, or are you selling calls, selling puts? I mean, creating contracts or.
Okay. So I always been trading options in the same way that I trade over here stocks. So buying calls and then also buying puts. I'm never like, short calls and vice versa. So even when I was trading, as I said, and this was around 2001, 2002, 2003, I was trading covered warrants, which are essentially the same exact thing, and they move the same. So they give you basically it's like trading stocks with the leverage at a lower price. That's the reason that you can grow your account very fast. I always been trading, was going out long, buying calls. Was going short in the stock, I was buying puts. Very simple, looking at technical trading analysis for defining the strategy, and then taking the option. During the years, I've mentored a lot of traders on options, and I could see really that is one of the best tool to grow your account very fast. But now, don't get me wrong, you still need some expertise. You still need a lot of understanding of how option work, versus the stock, and how the time decay influence the price of your option. The setups that I basically use for the big caps are exact same of the ones that I use on options. So a lot of traders think that trading options is very different. But if you do it for day trading, so if you're looking for easy setups, like, we could have a bounce long on Meta or a short on a rejection on Tesla. Instead of buying over here the stock or shorting the stock, you're going to buy calls or you're going to buy puts. That's it. Very simple, very effective. And as I said, I've been mentoring a lot of traders in this way, and I've seen a lot of good results. So keep it very, very simple. A lot of strategies out there, but this is what I've seen has been the most effective for the majority of the students that I follow in options. Now, looking at Meta and looking at ES, I'm seeing right now a bounce on ES from 38.94 to 39.01, 39.02. So I'm using always ES on another screen as a main guide for when I'm looking to trade options for underlying stock. In this case, we can see that Meta is going over here to this VWAP area. So we're going to see if it can test the 144.80. R, that's the main difference. While the option, just look at this. While the option traders is now below the VWAP, right? You can see over here is below the VWAP. Over here, now we're going to expect, and it's also below the Zealand, sorry. Now over here, we're going to instead wait, we're going to expect a push to the 145. If we have this retest over here, the 145 and that rejection, that will be a first level where we can start buying over here, puts 140. For now, I can see a strong over here, a break of the 145. So this is still not a short. Let's see if we're gonna fail this level. No purchase over here, the option. You can see that it's just grinding. This is what I'm waiting for. If we're gonna have this price action over here, on the option, we're gonna buy it ideally around 140, 145, and looking for that push. Okay, so I'm explaining my possible scenario over here. Meanwhile, ES gave this setup over here. So you can see that we had a wedge breakout. So nice, decent push. Some pullback over here. So just look at that stuff. This is what I like to see. This is a first proper reversal signal. So now we're going to expect over here the put over here to bounce at least to the 140 area.
Joseph, if there's, I'm sorry, like, if you hadn't mentioned this already, is there a certain amount of volume that you're looking for? I know that, you
Yes,
talked
there
about
is.
the expiration, But yeah, for scalping and day trading, options
Yes.
very, very different.
Yes. So generally, I'm looking to trade the first or the second OTM option weekly. And I will be looking for those options that at least intraday they trade around 10,000 shares or more. As I said, I want something very liquid. If you're looking, for example, at right now at Meta, and we'll be choosing, for example, a 140 over here. Sorry, we're gonna be choosing over here a 149 or 148. So very out over here, very in the money. Pardon. We're gonna choose over here the 149 or 147 or 146 puts. What's gonna happen? They're gonna have low liquidity. If we're trading right now, the 140. So we are just a little bit out of the money with the 140. This 140 today has the highest volume traded. So the 140 contract on the put has 3,000 contract traded, while, for example, a 146 has a 420, a 148, a 130, and 149, 100 contracts. So nothing. Therefore, if I followed this even in the previous days, I know that the 140 is going to be the most liquid one. All right, let me trade that. One rule that I have is that if I see the spread being over 10, 12 cents, maximum 15 cents, I'm not going to take the option. For example, today, we're having generally 2 cents spread on the 140 put. And this is very important because if we trade through the spread, with the spread, it's going to be really, especially in a sideways action like this one, it's going to be really hard to make money. So my suggestion is that we never buy options above 10, 15 cents spread. So in this case, traders, we still don't have that short. You can see that we are grinding on this trend line. Our option over here is around 136, 138. And why to trade option? Because it's basically what I would say, one of the best products to trade for the potential reward that you can have. With option also, you have to assume always that you're going to trade something cheaper, the actual stock. So even if you have a small account, you can really look to build fast a small account.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm curious, Joseph. Like a lot of your traders, one of the beauties of options is you don't have to have $25,000 to day trade.
Exactly. So sorry, Bruce, over here, but this is a 139, 140 buy over here, the option, exactly this price over here. As soon as we start seeing this crack, that's our setup we want to look for. So the price over here now went from 139, 140 on the ask to the 142, 143 on the bid. What we're going to do over here, we're going to stay with the trade and we're going to look for the first main target, which is this 144. In the meantime, we have to understand that our yes is on the main support. You can see over here this support, this support, this support. So the 38.95, 38.96. If we're going to bounce, we're going to step out from the option. If instead this will fail, we're going to hold our option. So right now, as we said, we see the break over here, our trend line, VWAP over here fail, 90 may fail, J-lines fail. We're going to look if yes over here will fill below 38.95. If yes will bounce, we're going to get out with a stop loss of our option. So option went from 139, 140 on the ask, now to 145 on the bid. So what we can do right now is basically to put a stop break even. So if the price over here on the stock goes back to this level, what we're gonna do, we're gonna stop over here 140, so basically scratch on our option. So we're gonna use also risk management over here, tight risk management, 145, 146 now on the bid. We see S cracking over here, so this could be a good short and also good put trade. So bounce over here at exactly in this moment of yes. So right now the price, it was 146 on the bid, went already 145 on the bid. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna use that risk break even. So what I'm waiting over here is essentially this. I want to see that we're gonna hold and unwind more, all right? So price over here, 147 on the bid, 147, 148. When I see a break of this 144 and 30 level over here on Meta, on the stock, that would be a 150 plus on Meta over here put. I also suggest over here to use the limits, something that I'm sure they will ask me. I never like to use over here ask, so buy into the ask. So if we can buy into the mids, so let's say we have a spread 148, 150. This is a pro tip. Try to use the mids. So you try to buy, for example, 149. Over here, 150, sell the first partial. Okay, so over here is the first partial sell. We're going to do over here. We're going to sell half at 150. Exactly this point over here. Always pay yourself into the strength. Okay, never wait that the stock reverses and then you're gonna basically undersell over here your put. What I like over here is perfectly the seed map that is coming down. So today I'm analyzing less the Bookmap over here, and we're focusing more in the price action over here in the use of the options. So now it's 153, 154 from our 140 over here purchase. And you can see that each bar is making a higher low. So that's the first main target, okay? Looking for that 144 on Meta. And over here, we'll be looking for the 160 on the put. This is a pretty good tool over here. I think we got the best stock of the day. I mean, if you look at other stocks today, they were very choppy. Meta at least had a little bit of range. So look over here now, this bounce, right? Bounce over here on Meta. And I would like that you look at the price right away, how it pulled back from the 153 over here in the bid to the 147, 148 over here in the bid. So now we can use this 90MA. It's a tool that I often use for trailing the second part of our trade. So we had broken this trend line, this downtrend line. Now they're starting to bounce. This is the level over here that I'm watching for a possible or recycling, or even if we break the 144 and 50, cutting our trade. You can see right away the price went back to 145 over here in the bid. Our average is 139, 140 based on the strategy. Again, 148. ES is rejecting. So what I would do over here is looking to buy on the bid around 146, 147. So yes, unwinding more. Over here, we have a first rejection on Meta. So again, over here to add at 146, 147. So re-adding the second half that we covered. So now our average, if we had, let's say 140, now we will have a 143 average. That's our risk. Okay, so you understand also recycling over here with options. And you understand the price section, how we're looking to read the price section. Okay. When I see a breakdown over here, I think we can have a very good bear flag. Some sideways action. Yes, it's still unwinding, so that's a good reason to stay in the trade. Careful over here because we're having, you can see that push on yes. So now, if you had it, for example, at the 146 price right now is 143 on the bid, that's your stop. Okay, so that is called trailing stop over here. Exactly this point. So that over here is a trailing stop. So looking at this trade on a, I would say, low liquidity market, okay, and low volatility, we had over here our trend line break. This is a perfect, you can see the bigger picture. This is a perfect bear flag. We were looking for the first main target, 144, never got till there. In the moment that we had this entry over here on the stock, 144 and 60 for the breakdown, we had over here 139, 140 for the dip long on Meta. As I said, try to buy the mids into the spread, not essentially to the ask. And then over here, you can see the first target. So once we start breaking the VWAP, and then the re-add over here. And then, of course, over here, the trailing, because once the trade doesn't work, get out. So we were looking also this morning at AMZN, but pretty choppy for now. Again, today is not the perfect day to trade big caps until we won't have the 2 p.m. data. Yes, now it's bouncing, so probably going to see over here a bounce also Meta. Price now, the option is still 142, 143, 142, 144. So you can see that once the stock started to pull back to the upside, and the option over here started to unwind, pull back to this main 140 area, but you have all sweet time over here to get out. We're also going to check soon Tesla. Tesla has a very low, is a very, sorry, small range for the day. So nothing right now as liquidity. You can see also low liquidity. We're going to continue to follow Meta. So now we have a B setup. So another fail of the 90 MA, but not taking this. If you look at Bookmap over here, we have not a lot of supply, but a lot of demand over here, 144. I'm not really worried too much about this because often those are orders that are acting like a main catalyst. So they're gonna probably go print over here and try to get fill 144, 145. Fill over here, Meta. You can see the bounce from 145 to 150. So right now the volume of this option is the highest of the day, 3,800 contracts over here traded, puts. And if you look instead, the 144, 3,400 contracts over here traded. So these two are I would say the most liquid ones for the day. Low liquidity in this phase of the market. New lows over here, 144. So you can see right now the option how it's spiking. We have 143, 144. Previous low is 144. And if you see, everything traders started after this trend line break around 1033. So after here, right? Fail over here, rise over here with the put option. Support 144 bounce while ES is still unwinding. So we're going to look now at other two plays of today, starting from Tesla. We're going to use we're going to use Bookmap together with the 1 minute chart, together with the option chart over here. So for example, we can cut this off. Okay. So this morning, we had a plan over here on Tesla. These were my levels. As you can see, traders, we had a rejection, right? So we have an uptrend in the last weeks of Tesla. This is 2 Tuesdays ago. So we had over here a first consolidation into the 290, push, consolidation over here around 298, 299, and push. So we have a channel uptrending, pretty good channel over here. We can put this, okay. And I had this resistance set this morning at 310. Now, if you look at our option, the price over here was at 310. So the next whole round number option would be 305. But we have to determine where do we think on a fail the price will stall, okay? What is the first main target? Well, this is the first one over here, 306. So 306 is the previous support. What does it mean? That I will be looking for that round trip, okay? So round dollar number, 300.05 or 300 for the close of my option. If I look over here today, 300, we have traded 14,000 of contracts, 305. So the one that I suggest to trade because we are the first round dollar number in here. We traded 24,000. Okay. So if we choose, as I said, the 300, we're going to see over here 14,000 contracts, 305. So this level here of the trend line as well, 24,000. So 10,000 contracts more. This what does it mean? More liquidity. If now you look at R305, the spread is around 5 cents. But as I said, you can trade into the mids. The main purpose of this morning is to calculate the best spot to trade. We can see the resistance that we traced at 310. This was traced from the previous day. Over here, we have a morning breakout at 310. And then over here, 950, we have a retest of that resistance. So you can see that we have a sideways action, right? The retest of that 310, perfect over here on Bookmap. So that is a solid entry. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. Okay, so over here we can see the price action. So we had a first top, second top, that's your short over here, 309 and 90. So exactly 949. If you look over here, there we are. If you look over here, traders, at our option, we can look two different things. This is a high, we can call it number 1, and this is our low, number 2, right? So this is, of course, you can see our high, lower high, number 2. This is instead, traders, our dip over here, and this is our dip. So you can see a divergence, right? And that's options. So we have a lower low in price over here. And over here, we have a lower high. So what does it mean over here? The best setup happens when we have together rejection, pre-market level, and this over here, I would say $4. You can see this double bottom over here. That's exactly the setup that I'm generally trading. So when we have all these three things together, and the stop where 310, of course, low over here of the option. So we can see over here two main things as well. At this point, we start having an inside bar, and each bar starts making a lower high until this point over here. And over here, each bar is making a higher low until this point over here. So the first exit is this. In this case, you have a pretty good return because you're buying over here around 420, 430. The first main sell by the system that I teach is 480. Again, perfect use of heat map over here, perfect use of Bookmap. This is absolutely crazy when this happens. We had another opportunity. Okay, we're gonna put this at 10:30. Okay, so this is an engulfing pattern into the VWAP, into the J lines with our trend line. This is the part of engulfing pattern. And over here, we have our level, and that's our entry, exactly around 475, 480. Now, I didn't take this morning. You can see also over here the engulfing. So this bar, this is the outside bar after the inside bar. And the same thing over here that you can see on the stock. This area. So beautiful pattern. The trigger is exactly our trend line break, which would be over here around 470. And you can see also over here on Bookmap, the shift, this we've seen like hundreds of times, between buyers over here. So at this point, you don't touch it. Once you start seeing over here the sellers, okay, you can get involved and look for that unwind. Now it will be interesting to see today what kind of trend we're going to establish. Ideally, I'm looking not for a break of 306, but ideally 305. That would be for me the best setup. So I would like to see the 305 break and then start to short over here pops. And we could look then for even 300 puts. All right. So once we break over here 305, if we were to have a break 305 today, I'm going to switch between 305 to 300 puts. 305 will still be good, just in the money. I would prefer to trade a little bit out of the money. So cheaper, more return in case of a bigger unwind. So the three main things, traders, that you will need to define over here when you're trading options. And this has to be the ABC, all right? The first thing will be the options price. In this case, we have over here 5.25, the Tesla put 305. Then the premium that you paid. And this is actually what you're paying for your option. And then you should always look for the underlying stock price and chart, because that is the guide. All right. So if you're trading over here option on Tesla, of course you need the Tesla also chart, right? Don't do the error of traders that they don't put one or the other one. I like to put both charts and see how they're moving together. For example, is this making a lower high in this, for example, a higher, actually over here, a higher low? Yes. So we have over here the divergence, okay? Correct divergence over here. Like we had before. I remember when we were explaining at this point. We have here 1, 2. And before we were having, over here, sorry, there were opposite divergence, okay? You wanted to see like this higher. Now, another thing, going to AMZN, and I'm going to choose over here AMZN today, the 120. So today, traders, the most liquid option was the 122. So right now, 122 will be at the money. I prefer always to stay a little bit more out of the money, so we're going to look for the 120. You can see this is pretty choppy today. Amazon gave the same setup of Tesla. So once we had the spike in 950, here number one, this is the spike 950, sorry, number one as well. That white line up there is the resistance that I traced for the pre-market. And this over here is a dip in 950. So again, three things together. We have over here the dip, 130. This is the resistance of pre-market, and that is the spike. Plus over here, we have the heat map. This is a nice absorption over here. You can see also breakout. So fake breakout. This is a nice bull trap, and then unwind. What happens over here? You're going to look to buy over here the options around 140. So this is a reversal bar. This is a reversal bar over here. Nice spike. And that's your reversal over here in Bookmap. So again, three things together to confirm your thesis. So let's continue to see instead the price action on Meta. And we're gonna continue to look for the 140. Remember, before we were 3,400 contracts. Now we already traded 4,400. So in about 15 minutes, they traded 1,000 contracts over here. So that main support that we saw before, you can see at 144, 143, is basically getting weaker. Yes, it's unwinding good. But the price action on our option over here sideways. So I'm going to remove it here. Some things. Main support is 144. No trade for now, but I just want to follow price action with you. Don't trade options sideways. Don't trade options with low liquidity. Trade always the extremes. Sell them when it's trending. Don't sell an option when you have like you're long and you start seeing like a weakness. No, you have to sell into strength the majority of the times. Otherwise, your option will lose too much, I would say, premium, okay?
So I put Joseph your PDF. It's in the Discord advanced webinar chat room, and a couple of links to the blog articles that you created on options.
I want to share also, Bruce, this is an example of a trade on Tesla from today. So when I explained that setup at 310, you can see in the advanced chat room, the short that we took at 310. This is an example of a trade. So we shorted, as you can see, exactly that top over here at 310, looking for that main fill. using exactly, in this case, we traded a stock, but we traded short from 310.30 till 307 right now. And this is exactly the reason why we were explaining before the use of Bookmap, the use of Tesla of that pre-market high, and the fill. Okay, so I share traders in the advanced trading room of Bookmap example of Tesla today. Now let's continue to see also Meta, which is going back to the J line. So I could think now, all right, traders, we have what? This morning we already faded one time, second time, and now we have the third pull back to the J lines. It's just for a scalp. ES is near the VWAP. ES is below the open level. I don't generally look to trade a third time of here rejection unless I start seeing some big sellers. So a little bit of cautious over here. But we can look how Bookmap, the chart of the options, and underlying stock move. So number one over here, you can see J line rejection at 144 and 55. Over here, you can see the price on the put. So bounce from the 138. Over here, this is the level of J line in the chart. We can see that we have a heat map, small liquidity. I prefer to see more selling pressure this time. Remember, we are 11:10, and today we have FOMC. Already, we were lucky to have, even if it was small, a trade over here to share.
No, great stuff, Joseph. I mean, you're going through the anatomy of your entire trade and doing it right in front of everybody here.
Yeah, the point is, you trade always the same patterns, so you become very confident in what you have to look for. What it's always the same, I would say, process. So game plan, risk management, and also self-control. For example, today, Bruce, I have to tell you that we needed and we had a lot of patience on big caps because a big lack of liquidity and also volatility today in the market. I could say that 2 weeks ago we had big caps much more trendier than right now. Today it's a very slow day, probably due to the data that we will have at 2 o'clock. So what does it mean? Less trades, or even avoiding to trade unless we have a very low risk, like Tesla over here. That if you have Traders Bookmap Discord room, this is an example of what we traded. So we shared the chart over here at 9:30, and this is our entry over here at 110 and 30 over here. Why? Because we explained before, look, this liquidity that we have above, that's a usual of sellers. And when Bruce sees this, he starts being happy because we know that we'll have at least a nice pullback. And then of course you see the stock that is working, then you're going to continue to hold. The same thing, okay, we didn't take, for example, the put, but the put we can see, and I'm going to put back up now. We can see how the put moved. If we put a 305, we can put it over here. We see that at the time we bought the shorted stock, at 310.30. Over here, we can buy the put at 424. And then we can have this big move. We cover here now partial at the price of 307 and something. And the stock and the put over here move from 420 up until 530. There's one thing that's over here. There's one thing that we can see. As we said, this is the high. All right. And over here, what we have a lower low. We said over here we have a lower low. So this is the opposite divergence of what I want to see. because essentially this dip should have been lower, being that this is the higher high versus this, okay? So opposite, for example, what we saw on before Meta. And, but you continue to stay in because you're following the underlying stock. That's the main point of all this. So that's your main guide, not really what option is doing, but as we said, the underlying stock. Okay, reason why you always have to have the underlying stock when you're trading options. And I can tell you that if you learn how to trade options in this way, you're going to be very profitable, very, very profitable. I've seen a lot of traders really struggling, thinking that options are so difficult. They're not. It's just you have to basically choose another price versus 307 over here if I would like to short, or 308 if I would like to buy. Choose another price, and that really mimics your stock with few I would say nuances. So you have, for example, the time decay and these parameters that you have always to check, but it's very simple otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, you're keeping it extremely simple, and I think that's again the beauty here, because there's so many different things you can do,
Yeah,
and yet just cut out that, get to the strategy that works for you, that shows profitability, and just get really good at it.
exactly, exactly. The more you keep things simple, the better. So KISS, keep it simple. I remember one of my old mentors, Ken Calhoun, back in, believe, 2003, 2005, when he was teaching me US stocks, he was explaining really this, like the essential of the trade is being very simple and able to recognize in a few seconds and being able to understand right away if it's an A plus setup or a B setup. In this case, as we can see over here, Tesla only moved today $4 of range, which is nothing. I mean, Tesla could move generally 10, 15, 20 points. So 4 points over here today is nothing. This means like a very, very tight range. When you have this traders, again, try to avoid it. But again, every single time we have FOMC is generally on Wednesday. And I remember this very good, like I believe 3 weeks ago or something like that. And we had experienced the same price action. Today, at least, we're lucky because we could share over here the Tesla trade and also the little trade that we had on Meta explaining the live process of risk management and also how to recycle and also get trailing stopped out. Bounce over here from 11. I see also bounce over here, and yes, he has a resistance at 38.94. Right now, price is 38.92. Uptrend over here. Daily rejection of yes. So now careful because we could expect a Tesla rejection as well. I was looking for that 308. Let's see if we can get to there or we start like cracking the support of 307. We're going to also manage to see the price action on the auction. Again, this will be only exercise for price action. It's not something that I'm going to trade at this time of the day with data coming in a couple of hours. So the price over here is 490 and $5 on the 305 put Tesla. So exactly this moment, that's your entry exactly here. While the price over here is moving the 5505. So 5505 is your buy, as your, let's say, put entry. And the risk over here would be the 490. The point is, I'm not trading this due to the lack of liquidity and due to the time of day. Because over here, what you want to see follow through. Okay, you can see instead it's not still unwinding, still holding. And I don't want to give back profit at this time of the day. All right. So we're only doing this to explain the price action. Now the price is 490 and 5. It's going very fast back to 485 and 495. And that's also the main difference. As we said, try to buy to the mids or try to buy on the bid. Don't try to buy on the ask because otherwise you will have a worse fill. You want to see this fail and rejection for the unwind. For now, you can see that we have very low prints over here. And the volume traded on this option is 27,500 today. So not a bad liquidity for the option. Just bad liquidity and volatility for the stock. So we were looking over here for this trend line break. Finally, you can see the first bar over here confirmed the trend line break, 1119. As I said, I'm not a fan for this entry, so I will never get this entry over here. The reason why we have 1110, low liquidity, and we have data coming up in already two good rejection this morning. But that's a pattern as well. So you can see the rejection over here on the stock at 307 and 30. So this is the entry bar, 307, 30, 31, 35. And the entry bar on the option over here is this one. So $4.95 or $5 over here for the entry. And move quickly over here to the 530. So small scalp. This was also, I would say, the morning support. Then we have another support over here. So that would be the second main target. So what we were saying is just that you can see the setup over here, basically the same setup we had on Tesla. Same also setup, vice versa, of being a put for the rise over here in a put. All right. So any questions, traders, for today? Bruce, do we have any questions today on options?
Let's see here. No, not really. Just some nice compliments, Joseph. And let me check in Discord here.
Also, Bruce, I will be in the States from tomorrow. So tomorrow I'm going to take the flight to Colorado for Trader for a Cause, and we're going to talk about mental discipline. So I think it's something going to be very important for all the traders who want to follow us.
Right, right. No, I remember the special event. Quite an honor, Joseph. So congratulations on that. Where exactly did you say? You said Colorado?
Colorado, because I will stop there, but then it will be in Vegas
Okay.
at the end of the month. You know, everything of this is for charity, so helping, as we can, I think is the best thing, and also a good meeting for traders.
Yeah.
And I will screen share next time from Denver, so from Colorado.
Okay, okay. Actually, I believe Sam will be hosting that one with you. I will be out on that day, but yeah, I'll have to miss that one.
Okay, okay, buddy.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. Thank you very much, Joseph. Going through the details in how you trade options, and that's exactly what we wanted to have or offer in this webinar series. So really nice stuff, Joseph.
Thank you very much, Bruce. Thank you very much, traders. Reach out to me, Bruce, or Bookmap if you need help. My main point today was one thing, to explain really the simplicity of trading options with this strategy. The most important thing, Bruce, give me 1 second, is this. Looking for these Bookmap, big heat maps, as you can see over here, finding that level of the stock on our daily and hourly chart.
Don't see your screen there, Joseph.
Oh, sorry. Advanced webinar. You should be able to see it.
Yeah, no, I'm seeing your the different traders in the room.
See screen share 1 second.
No, I got it. I got it now. I'm sorry.
No problem. So Bookmap, level of daily or hourly chart. And then in the moment that you want to purchase over here or short your stock, you're going to buy or calls or you're going to buy puts. Very simple, very effective. And then you just have to administer your position knowing about the time decay. So price of the stock being lateral, remember your option with time will start like losing value over here. So you're going to lose over here money. Just this. Again, traders, thank you very much. See you next week from the States. I hope to meet also some guys and traders in Colorado. Will be a meeting on the 8th. Just, for a few folks, even Bookmap traders are invited. Thank you. See you all together there and have fun. Take care.